Well, Rings of Power coming out. Well, we think tomorrow. We're gonna look at something real quick. Tomorrow,
It's not
Wednesday.
recording.
Tomorrow, yeah, it
It's
is.
not.
It's recording. I got it.
Okay.
Upper left. Mine
Okay,
shows
sorry.
it's recording. We're recording. All right. So, all right.
Fuck you, Steve.
Yeah,
and
okay,
fuck
dude.
Jeff Bezos
Fuck
for
everybody.
this
All right.
show.
All right. So here we go.
Yeah.
All right. We'll start over. Here we go. All right. Well, here we are. Where I figured, Rings of Power comes out tomorrow. We is it tomorrow? Midnight tonight. Midnight tomorrow. 3 a.m. tonight. Who knows? Because once again, Amazon does a great job of promoting its shows and building hype by calling us all names, and being very clear when the show comes out. Nobody seems to know when the show comes out. I feel like they've done this before, and let me share it to show what I'm talking about, because I feel like we were just talking about this. We're just going to cover this briefly because we have something else we want to cover before the show comes out. Some reviews came in, and boy, oh boy. But the reason I'm saying we're having trouble deciphering when this show comes out is this right here. So I feel like in the past with Wheel of Time, which again, we were right, was the proving grounds for this show. By the way, rude of me, Salty's here. Hey, Salty, how are you? My bad. We tried to start this video 3 or 4 times, and it just, we're going now. The train has left the station. It's not coming back. But
I can't. I woke up this morning, Steve, and I go through. I pick through the dumpsters like I'm a raccoon when it comes to Hollywood stuff. Like I'm looking to see if there's a nugget of cringe. And the first thing that popped up was it was Predator, which we'll probably make a video.
Yeah.
But the Rings of Power came up, and Variety and Hollywood Reporter. Nobody seems to want or like
Hollywood
Rings of Power.
I'll bring up the Hollywood Reporter one too. I have the Variety one queued up, but before because we're gonna get to. But I just because we're talking about it because I'm talking about trying to live watch it, baby. But I don't know if I'm gonna be live watching it at 3 a.m. on August 29th. So does 3? So I need clarification. Is 3 a.m. August 29th? Does that mean we hit midnight tonight and then it comes out at 3 a.m. on the 29th? Or are they dumb and it's midnight on the 29th, meaning, West Coast midnight the 29th, and then it's actually 3 a.m. on the 30th? Because
Steve, we've been through this before. I want to say it was with Rings of Power, like we talked about off screen. And so here's the thing. If it's 3 a.m., that would mean tonight. After it turns midnight, it becomes Thursday, which is 29th. So if you're staying up and it's 3 a.m. on the East Coast, it would be midnight for me, West Coast. Mm-hmm. Theoretically, based upon Amazon's own thing on their website about this $1 billion show, it should be out. It should be out tonight at 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern, midnight Pacific time.
We'll see though, because I've posed that same question to many people, and I get a different answer every time. Some people have been very confident that it will be at midnight tonight. If you're on the West Coast, you will have Rings of Power. I've had some people very confident that it's actually no. You're reading it wrong. It's Thursday midnight. And it'll be 3 a.m.
That's not and it's how
like it shouldn't be how it works, but I never put it. But nobody can seem to agree. I'm on your side here. I agree. It should be midnight. We hit 00. It turns to the 29th. It should be out. We will have to wait and see because I'm not confident at this point. Now, I feel like we went through this with the Wheel of Time. They posted a midnight release, and then all of a sudden it was out at 9 Eastern. And everyone's like, what? So I wouldn't put it past Amazon to go, oops, we hit the schedule button wrong. And we meant to release it since, people, if the show is so hype, you'd think people want to watch it immediately. I don't know who's staying up till 3 a.m. to watch this.
They published the wrong times in articles. I want to say it was for Wheel of Time for weeks. They published the wrong day. If you remember, Steve, season 2, they gave the wrong premiere date. Then they gave the right premiere date with the wrong time, and then nobody knew the right time. So this is an Amazon problem. It's not limited to the Rings of Power, but Jesus Christ, you want to talk about not helping your cause. Okay, you're not helping your cause, Amazon.
Yeah, well, that's the number. You're right. We're talking about too is all the things they should be doing to try and hype this series up. They're not doing it. I got
win people back. It's real simple,
yeah.
And we talk about it all the time. Is just talk about, you know what, this is not the Tolkien you remember, this is not Peter Jackson, but we wanted to make something that we felt very strongly would reflect the characters as we understand them. And every publicity still that we've seen, from the laughable wigs of Sauron to more warrior Gladriel horseshit on yet another horse, it's just like Robert Jordan and the Wheel of Time, where it's just a skin suit. And in this case, I don't even think there's agenda, although there is with the Hobbits. It's just a skin suit for mediocrity. It's just
I don't even know, right? It's just like it sounds like this is what they're saying, and so this is coming from Variety. So I pulled up the two articles you mentioned. So we have the Variety one. This is coming from Variety. The Rings of Power makes a Lord of the Rings a boring slog in a lifeless season 2.
Is Variety. This is not Steve. This is not Prophet. This is not Salty. This is not the White Cloaks. This is Variety magazine calling season 2 a boring slog. Now,
these first 2 paragraphs, man. Go ahead.
Through the first season of the Rings of Power, and then also, and I'm sure a lot of your viewers remember this, isn't talking about Wheel of Time. The last thing you want your show to be is a boring slog. Okay?
Boring. Yeah, boring is the worst, right? But like here, sitting down to write this review, I could think of a few memorable moments. A swarm of butterflies coalesce into a humanoid figure, acquire like what or like
so that's Tom Bombadil. Steve, that's got to be Tom Bombadil, which I haven't made a video about it, but it makes me so angry. But then I walk back and I realize these people are disingenuous. They're lying to our faces. They lied to us about Robert Jordan and gaslit us. They lied to us that this was Tolkien and the Rings of Power, and they even lied that it was Game of Thrones season 1. So these fucking they're just fucking liars.
But look at this. What I cannot think of are any characters I particularly care about or any emotions I felt as a
Variety. Wow. This had to go through and so Variety is owned by Penske, which is a large publishing conglomerate. They own Deadline, they own Rolling Stone, they own Hollywood. They own all the trades. And for any article that they put out that shits on a major potential advertiser for their website, it's not just for Variety. It would be for all of their other publications that are online. So this show is so bad that somehow not just the writer of this article, but their editorial review board and their advertising and finance department said, yeah, we're not going to get any money anyway, so just tell the truth. Like, it's really that bad when you have no one cheerleading anything to do with this show. And it's not just on this website, it's on another owned website by Penske, again, for Variety.
But it's like the second installment show, as gorgeous yet flat as a kitchen backsplash, has the same problems as the first, minus much confidence these issues will ever go away. So basically, if you're expecting anything to improve from the first season, storytelling wise, character wise, don't, because they do the exact same things that they do in season 1.
Well, what did they say? And articles have come out in other trades, and I want to say Vanity Fair, where Payne and McKay said, yeah, we wrote all five seasons of this show before season 1 was ever released, and these things were in production, theoretically, before season 1 even came out. So there was no course correction. There was nothing. Now, do I believe that entirely? No, and here's the reason why. Because I think somewhere somebody said you've got to bring in other Tolkien characters, and that's why we're painfully going to be seeing yet another counterfeit character, this time in the form of Tom Bombadil. Tom Bombadil is, and I don't give a shit what people say, is an incredibly important character in the Tolkien Legendarium. And not only that, it is as close to omniscient and above it all in godlike that walks the face of Middle Earth. Now, this is not the video to go into that, but I just did a full reread of starting with The Hobbit and ending with Return of the King, because I wanted to, again, detox the poison, not just of the Rings of Power, but also Wheel of Time. And I'm going to tell you, whatever they do to Tom Bombadil, it's going to be the $5 and below Dollar General knockoff horseshit, probably bisexual, non-binary, communist amputee diversity hire horseshit that we've all come to know for Amazon. Thanks for letting me go off.
It's just, I'm reading through some of this. I'm reading. I could not explain the various political factions striving for control, and yeah, it's crazy. It appears only with a single episode. Where I couldn't even discern where different subplots were unfolding in relation to one another, and often found myself yearning for a Games of Thrones style map to open each episode.
We texted each other this morning. I sent you guys this article.
Yeah, because you have no idea what's taking place where.
No, this is a professional reviewer. This is a professional reviewer for Variety who watches shows objectively and probably also with the chip on the shoulder of, you know what? We'd really like some advertising dollars because Apocalypse is totally real. With all of these entertainment websites, that's why so many of them are closing or going bankrupt or letting people go. And again, Penske represents countless entertainment journals, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Deadline. Essentially, they're recycling the same articles because they've been cutting staff, and they're doing it very slowly. But these we call them shill sites, are hemorrhaging money for a variety of reasons. Their credibility is completely gone because nobody believes anything. Also, Hollywood isn't making anything that anyone gives a shit about.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing. Nobody believes any of this shit anymore, whether it's the gaming industry or they say things. It's like Rotten Tomatoes. Why people still use Rotten Tomatoes for anything is beyond me.
And Rotten Tomatoes just changed their ratings system again.
I don't. People continue to use it to prove their points when it agrees with them, but when it doesn't agree with them, they don't use it. Stop using Rotten Tomatoes. It's useless. It's never right. It's all bullshit. Just like all these articles, and the Access Media has lost all credibility, which is a good thing because they're all full of shit. But I mean, like this one, Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power review, season 2 of Amazon's fantasy prequel is too epic for its own good. I don't even know what
does that even mean, Steve. What does that even mean?
I love how we have the exact same fucking.
You're too epic. Prophet of the Dragon. You know,
I don't understand. It's too epic. So if we're putting in good faith, here, maybe it means they're trying to do too much. Is that maybe?
Yes.
Is that
they're doing too much? Which so it's just like what we saw with Wheel of Time, Steve. It was. In this article in particular, it talks about the editing and trying to cram too much in at a quick pace. Those of you who watched the videos that all of us did, including the White Cloaks, about Wheel of Time, especially season 2, what was their fix for not having a good story and not having characters that people liked, and for not following the story or the personalities and the arcs created by Robert Jordan? Well, let's just do shit faster and let's just jam more things in. I believe this now, that the Rings of Power, it's the same thing with Payne and McKay, and that Bezos sat these two dipshits down and said, you know what, you need to make something compelling here. I want my goddamn Game of Thrones. And I really think it's going to be cut, big sweeping CGI vistas. You know, you got your girl boss Gladriel, you got Sauron in a fucking wig. And it's just like everything's got to be fast and everything's got to be big. But nothing means anything.
Throughout much of the second season part of Lord of the Rings, the characters accuse one another of playing right into the hands of the Dark Lord, and while they're often right about Sauron being behind the sinister scheme, at one point he has to acknowledge he can't take all the credit. You think too much, blah blah blah. That sounds like it's going to be horrible dialogue. Still, it's hard to blame the characters for feeling like pawns in someone else's game. It's not. It's just not Sauron's exactly. It's the sophomore outing by J.D. Payne and McKay's fantasy prequel falls prey to one of the most common afflictions of its kind. It starts to feel like a story shaped backwards from events we already know will need to transpire rather than ones driven forward by the motives and choices of the character.
That's it. And this is what I sent you guys in our text group today, if you don't mind. I said I can't wait to watch them to see the watch minutes for season 2 once the season is over. Set a timer for when the very first all Tolkien fans are racist, and that's why they're not watching this season 2 thing to happen. Immediate. You know, the Hollywood Reporter, what I really took away from it was that it does have that pacing of season 2 Wheel of Time, which kind of broke my brain because it wasn't cutting and editing for the purpose of creating actual coherent scenes that were part of a plot within an episode, that were within a plot within a season of television. Nothing fucking mattered. Nothing meant anything in the context of the episode where it occurred, and nothing within the episodes built or created anything other than emotion for the season. And I gotta think that's what they're doing here with the Rings of Power. This is not meant for somebody who has an attention span or who actually loves Tolkien. And it's sad.
It's not. Right. And it's, you know, we've talked about it. We talked about it, you know, before we part here and end the video. You know, we talked about it because a lot of things that are going on in Rings of Power are problems that happened first in the Wheel of Time. And for some reason they took, you know, I don't know why they thought the Wheel of Time was a positive experience. Nobody watched that show either. But they're making a lot of the same mistakes. Hell, you know, I can't wait to get our fourth horse charge into nothing, because so far between Wheel of Time and Rings of Power, we've had a bunch of horse charges into non-events, which is not how that shit's supposed to work. And it's just, you know, it's a small thing in the large scale of what's going to happen with this show. But it sounds like from even the you know, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, and other sources that it's just a confused,
it's a boring slog. It's too epic for its own good. What does that mean, Steve? That means they're trying to create spectacle, and when all you have is spectacle, there's nothing underneath it. Yeah. What is the point? It's the thinness of a Mylar balloon. And what happens when you pop a Mylar balloon? There's nothing in it. Yeah, and that's, again, what Amazon seems to be.
That's the biggest. I think that's the hugest problem. The characters are all unlikable. There's no intelligent dialogue.
That's what the Variety article said. You read it.
Choreography, yeah. The choreography is a mess. Some of the wide shots are great. Sure, some of it looks pretty. The Balrog looks great. Look at the Balrog, guys. It's a Balrog, right? It's like,
what is it doing there?
Right. It's again, a Balrog.
If you can just pretend to give a single fuck about Tolkien's Legendarium and how important the Balrog, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Right, because in the writer's room, they said, look, we need something to make people go, wow. Do you remember the Balrog? Wow. So we got to have the Balrog. It's like, come on.
It's the same thing with the War of the Rohirrim trailer, where you see the Oliphants, where you see the eagles, where you see that crazy creature from the Gates of Moria. Those are all Tolkien, but they don't fucking belong in the War of the Rohirrim, especially at that time.
Why is she going to have a pet elephant? Why is there an octopus monster fighting an elephant?
I don't know. It's not Tolkien. None of this is Tolkien.
I don't know. The War of the Rohirrim one, I still, you know, I watched it with Nathan during one of our live streams. It looked boring, if I'm being boring and confusing. I don't know.
I covered it last year.
Oh yes, you did.
Philippa Boyens did not write the War of the Rohirrim. Her fucking daughter did, who is a rabid feminist. Okay. Well, and the other thing is, anything to do with Helm is over in the first act.
Well, the biggest problem with the trailer for me was, besides for it being just sort of like there's elephants everywhere, why are there Oliphants everywhere? Which is just like shaking my head. It's like, remember Rohan? Remember the charge at Minas Tirith? And so that's but the biggest problem was when you're introducing your characters and you're expecting Helm Hammerhand to be the lead character, he is ousted by his daughter, who apparently, like, I don't know the lore as much as I don't know the lore.
Never was named. Had no name.
The daughter that is Hera and his parent, is quite evidently from the trailer front and center and is going to be the main character, as you said. I know you covered that in the past.
Ghosts. I just can't.
It's just
anyway.
It's one of those. It wasn't what I was expecting. So, but the Rings of Power. We think it should be out at midnight tonight if Amazon is not playing
midnight tonight.
It should be
time.
So technically,
or 3 a.m. Pacific.
You know what would help Amazon? Put a fucking countdown timer on it. They did it with Wukong Black Myth on Sony.
Yeah,
like you go to the PlayStation, you pre-order the thing, and it has a countdown that says it will be available to play in 9 hours. It doesn't matter where you're at in the world. You just watch that timer. Put a countdown timer on it.
There's a way to generate enthusiasm, even for people who weren't fans of season 1. I swear to God, you could have a countdown, and every hour on the hour, you have a raffle or a drawing for something signed, like a script or a full set of Tolkien or props. It's not hard, Amazon. I would check it constantly, but every hour on the hour you're logged in and somebody randomly gets this free awesome thing from Amazon to celebrate the release of Rings of Power Season 2. You people are fucking stupid. That's what makes me the angriest at Amazon. This is basic bitch.
At the very least, very least, be clear, because if it's not out at midnight at 3 a.m. on the if it's not out at 3 a.m.
tonight,
and that would be 3 a.m. That's like what we're looking at 16 hours.
Yeah.
If it's not out in 16 hours, then what the fuck? Like, just put a countdown in here. There's no confusion. I mean, there shouldn't be any because that
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't, because I looked at this and I said, oh, 3 a.m. it'll be out in it was 24 hours at that point, and somebody's like, oh no, that's not right, it's out. It's like, what do you mean? So we'll see. I sure hope the
non-binary, biracial, amputee, pansexual intern that they have in charge of their marketing department, who produces no fucking value for Amazon, much like Payne and McKay. I hope that somebody there comes up to them and says, hey, would you mind putting down your soy latte for 5 fucking minutes to update our fucking marketing thing on our $1 billion Tolkien fucking flagship show? Could you do that?
It's the easiest thing in the world. You just coming soon, and then right here you have an hour countdown, and then there's no, so like there shouldn't. First of all, let me be clear, and then we're gonna get out of here. This shouldn't be confusing at all. You're right at the beginning. I'm right. It should be out in 16 hours. I will laugh my ass off if the people that were arguing with me and saying that it's not going to be, it's actually closer to 36 hours because it's going to be midnight, not this midnight, but the midnight of the 29th, like, which, you know what I'm saying? Friday midnight.
This out, Steve. I'm trying to figure this out because UK time, it wouldn't work because UK is like, I think they're 8 or 7 hours.
Why are you releasing it at midnight anyways? Put it out at prime time.
I think they're trying to maximize view hours, but it makes no goddamn sense. I mean, and the other thing is the way the Nielsen's work is when the weekends, that's it, and I think it goes till Saturday and then Sunday picks up a new day. If they were smart, they would have released this tonight at 6. And then the second episode,
6
Thursday,
Pacific, 9 Eastern.
And they're dropping all 3 episodes at once, kids. It's not like season 1 where you get that first big banger episode and every episode goes.
And parting words for this. I'm going to be watching the ratings like a hawk, because if this can't get any ratings, that means that Wheel of Time season 3 will definitely not get any. We already know it's not, but it definitely won't get any ratings. And then, by their own words, Wheel of Time will be canceled. Hopefully, that's what's going to happen.
I know it's canceled.
It
Rosamund Pike wants off of this. She wants to go produce lesbian science fiction stories. So
well, wonderful. So looking forward to that. So yeah. So So man, thanks for joining me. I'm not looking forward
anytime,
to that.
bro.
So thanks for talking about these articles. Rings of Power, man. Gonna be covering it here live and videos. Man, I don't know what type of shit show we're in for, but
it's going to be a boring slog. It's going to be a diverse, boring slog. I know. I can't wait for you guys to lose your shit over the Harfoots, which appear to look like.
Wait, don't they have a second? Aren't they going to have a second? Aren't they doing a second halfling race too?
Yes.
Yeah, because the Harfoots need to get the fuck out of here, because they eat their dead and leave their people behind. Yeah, right, the Harfoots eat their dead and leave their friends behind, because they're great, because they just leave people to die, because they're the best. Can't wait. So I'm gonna be keeping track for a horse charge into nothing, a terrible sword fight where Galadriel does. Oh wait, we already saw that in the thing where we're doing the stupid dodging. Oh, that was. I'm so tired of the stupid dodge. I'll be counting sword hands and flippy kicks, because that's my favorite. And it's gonna be every time we see a sword hand, I'm gonna punch myself in the face. So so
how many years has it been? Three, and here we are yet again. They don't think there's a problem. They think this is perfectly normal and it's for a modern audience. And I for one welcome the sweet comet of death at this point, or meteor of death. Like, I really do. I'm going to go back and watch my Lord of the Rings animated movies, or read my books.
Go watch the greatest trilogy ever made. Go watch the big three, man. Like that's where it's at. So
and
all right,
read.
Well, yeah, for sure. Yes. So, all right. Well, good luck. We'll see you on the other side, and hopefully you survive the first 3 episodes of Rings of Power, because we're gonna need help. So, but we'll see. We'll see. Right?
It'll suck. We know already, but we'll see. We'll see as well.
Yeah. All right. Ta-ta. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.